The mystery of biblical silence. Why doesn't the Bible say everything? Truth, myth, and the silence of ancient manuscripts. In our quest for truth, one question keeps coming back. A simple question, but an explosive one. Why doesn't the Bible answer the questions that intrigue us the most? Why does it remain silent precisely about the details that awaken our curiosity, fuel our imagination, and seem essential for understanding the narratives? We would all like to know what the texts leave in the shadows. How old was Mary when she gave birth to Jesus? What was Jesus doing before his 30s? How did Cain and Seth have children? And above all, before creation, where was God? Where was he when there was not yet space, time, or universe? Where do we really come from? What existed before creation? Who were the gods of ancient peoples? And why so much silence about forgotten civilizations, worlds before, fallen angels, or even the mysterious beings that populate myths? Today, we're going to dive into a deep exploration, a journey between history, traditions, sacred texts, ancient myths, and guarded secrets, not to destroy faith, but to awaken the mind. The Bible is not a modern book. First of all, one essential thing must be understood. The biblical texts were not written to satisfy intellectual curiosity. They were never intended to answer all the questions that human beings can invent, nor were they meant to explain DNA, physics, dinosaurs, or the cosmological origin of the universe, or to offer a complete encyclopedia about God, heaven, creation, or the intimate life of biblical characters. The Bible was written to shape the heart, to transform life, to guide human beings toward the will of God, to open a path between the invisible and human consciousness.
The Bible is not an encyclopedia. It does not seek to cover all sciences, history, geography, cosmology, or biology. It does not function like a technical manual, and even less like a modern scientific book. The Bible does not tell history the way a modern historian would. It does not give a precise chronology. It does not describe every detail. It does not follow the historical method as we practice it today. On the contrary, biblical narratives use images, symbols, synthetic stories, characters with unusual longevity, and names that often carry deep meaning. The Bible is not a database. It is a theological testimony, a book that proclaims a relationship, the relationship between God and humanity, a book that wants to reveal meaning, not exhaustiveness. Let us look at a major example. From the very first verse of Genesis, a fundamental question arises. Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. But where was God when he began to create, since there was nothing? The rest of the chapter does not answer this question, and it can even create confusion if one expects technical precision. This shows that the Bible presents itself neither as a human chronicle nor as a myth in the modern sense of the term. As one of the greatest theologians in the world, Walter Brueggemann, explains, these texts should be considered neither as history nor as myth, but the text proclaims the very particular relationship that God maintains with humanity. When the Bible does not give precision or details, it is not necessarily a lack or an error. Not saying everything is part of the narrative style characteristic of these accounts. It is an ancient text written by ancient peoples within a worldview very different from ours. For them, the question was not, how does the universe work, but what is the meaning of our existence? Why does evil exist? What does God expect from us? These authors did not intend to create a scientific manual, but to tell a sacred story, a worldview, a human destiny.
Quick reminder, like the video, subscribe. It supports the channel and helps you not miss future videos.
Sacred selectivity. What the Bible decides to say and not to say. The biblical authors made a choice. They told what served their spiritual message, not everything they knew, and even less everything we would like to know today. For example, they briefly mention the Nephilim, then fall silent.
They evoke the sons of God, angelic creatures, without developing the subject. They speak of a world before the world, but in images. They bring onto the stage mysterious peoples such as the Rephaim, without ever telling their full story. Why all these shadowy areas? Because for them, this was not the central subject. Their priority was to describe the relationship between the human and the divine. The rest was secondary. But for us today, that rest is fascinating. We want to fill in the blanks, illuminate the shadows, connect myths together. So inevitably, the Bible appears incomplete to us. The example that reveals everything: creation of the world. Let us look at a concrete example among the most powerful ones, the creation of the world. In only 31 verses, Genesis tells the birth of the universe, of life, of humanity. 31 verses to describe what modern science has been studying for 300 years. 31 verses to replace what thousands of ancient myths recount in detail. 31 verses, while the subject is among the most complex that can exist. Why so brief? Why so few explanations? Why so many symbols, images, and poetry? Because the Bible never wanted to tell how the universe appeared. It wanted to answer a spiritual question: who is at the origin of the world, and why? The rest was not part of the message, and that is what Brueggemann explains. The Bible is not a documentary, it is a proclamation, a testimony, a sacred interpretation of human experience. The shock with other ancient texts. To understand this silence, one only needs to compare the Bible with other ancient manuscripts. The Babylonian creation myth, the Enuma Elish, describes in detail the gods, their battles, the birth of the cosmos. The Sumerian myth speaks of the Anunnaki gods, their interventions, their wars, their unions with humans. The Egyptians tell thousands of stories about the afterlife, the gods, the cosmic cycles. The Greeks produced an immense literature about the Titans, the Olympians, heroes, and monsters. But the Bible? It tells the essential. It cuts out everything that is not necessary for its unique vision: one God, one covenant, one guiding thread. Mythological details are deliberately eliminated. Cosmological speculations are set aside. Competing narratives are transformed or reduced to their minimum. This is not an oversight, it is an editorial choice. The silence about lost civilizations. So yes, it is frustrating for us, because we want to know everything. Where are the civilizations before the flood? Who were the giant peoples? Where do the sons of God come from? What existed before Adam? How old was Adam when God created him, knowing that the Bible only mentions his age at death? And how old was Eve when God took her from the rib of the man? The Bible does not dwell on these matters. It leaves these questions unanswered. Not because they are insignificant, but because they did not serve the spiritual objective of the text. Bible, history, myth. 3 levels of truth. Here is a fundamental point. There are several ways of expressing truth. Historical truth, what happened. Scientific truth, how it works. Mythological truth, symbolic meaning. Spiritual truth, what it changes within us. And the Bible mainly operates on levels 3 and 4. It uses myth, image, metaphor, symbol, not to deceive, but to teach. For it, history is not raw data, it is a language. That is why some biblical stories seem vague or stylized. They do not seek to be reports, they want to be revelations. So what should we seek in the Bible? If the Bible does not explain everything, if it does not go into detail, if it leaves so many shadows, gaps, silences, what should we seek there? When the Bible does not give precision or details, it is not necessarily a lack or an error. Not saying everything is part of the narrative style characteristic of these accounts. There is a principle that runs through all biblical texts, namely that what is said, recounted, explained, must serve to walk in faith, hope, and charity. Even if the texts clearly use mythical language, symbolism, the longevity of characters, the names of characters, places and times indicated, etc., to understand these phenomena, we can establish a comparison with the parables of Jesus. These stories clearly have a language proper of fable. They are not historical accounts, yet they express a truth greater than any chronicle. In the same way, biblical narratives convey what humanity must understand about its own history, the true history, that of meaning and of the relationship between God and humanity. The role of the one who awakens. You who are listening to this, you are not here to receive a truth already written. You are here to seek it, to gather the missing pieces, to compare the Bible with myth, history, archaeology, forgotten manuscripts. Truth is not found in the writings. 2 Corinthians 3:6. He has also made us competent as ministers of a new covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life. This passage means that clinging solely to written law leads to condemnation, while following the Spirit of God, which is an absolute and hidden truth, brings life. That is why your approach, questioning, learning, comparing, understanding, is essential. So why doesn't the Bible answer all our questions? Because it never intended to. Because it belongs to another world, another language, another mission. Because it speaks with silence as much as with words. Our role today is to discover this silence behind the Scriptures, to understand the deep meaning of the Scriptures, to grasp the divine intention behind the words, to receive an inner transformation. If you wish to discover the symbolic, theological, and human depth of ancient texts, the hidden meaning of the Scriptures, subscribe. Much remains to be explored, and this journey is only just beginning.
If you enjoy this content, you can support the channel by liking the video and subscribing so you don't miss upcoming posts.